Right, these are my Redwing Iron Rangers, the 8111s. I got a little stain on this one the other day. I dropped a piece of oily asparagus on it. And I've been working on removing the stain. I had plans to oil the boot. I don't know if you can see the stain. I've been working it out a little bit. But I had plans to oil the boot, but I wanted to get the stain out first. I didn't want to lock that stain in there. They're about 6 months old. I've been wearing them pretty hard. Got some scuff marks on them, as you can see. I ride a motorcycle with them, so they get beat up pretty well. Let me show you what I've been doing to try and get the stain out. I've just been using white vinegar, this little toothbrush I have, and some flour. They recommend cornstarch, but I didn't have any cornstarch, so I've been using flour. Seems to be working fine. Let me set this up here. So that's what I've been doing. Stay put. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Yeah, there you go. So I just take a little bit of this flour, put it on top. I started this last night. This is probably like the 5th time I've done this. You just work the flour in like this into the stain until you feel it starting to get warm. When you feel it starting to get warm, that's when they say that it's absorbing the oil. You're really working it in there to pull the oil stain out of the leather. There you go. Just working it across the stain. You let it sit like that overnight, or you could just let it sit for a few minutes, which is what I'm going to do right now, and you just wipe it off when you're done. You can see what you're left with. So you can still see it there a little bit. It's really not as bad. It's pretty prominent yesterday. Another option you can do, which is what I've been doing too, is take the plain white vinegar with a toothbrush and just work the vinegar in. The vinegar is supposed to pull the oil out of the leather. I haven't seen it stain the leather at all, which is pretty good. So overall, I think the vinegar, plain white vinegar, nothing else, is plain white vinegar, not white wine vinegar, just plain white distilled vinegar, is not staining the boot. I've done this a few times already. So I just dip it, work it into the boot. Just trying to get it to extract that stain, that oil stain. Then I'll come in here with the paper towel and try and blot that oil that has risen to the surface. Try and take it off the boot so it doesn't reabsorb. Try and pull it right off. Try not to wipe that much. I'm trying to dab more than I'm wiping. I don't want to smear it. I just want to kind of lift it off as you would any kind of stain on a piece of material or leather. Now, of course, they recommend using the microfiber cloth, but It's been working fine. Just paper towel, so there's a little dust on it. So then you get the flour again. Work it back in. Now I can't really see exactly where the stain is because the boot's a little wet from the vinegar. I'm just approximating where it might be. General area. So rub that in pretty well. I'm going to leave this flour on for a little bit. See what happens after it dries. I'll make it the rest of this video after this dries so you can see what it looks like. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, well, let's check these out here. I rubbed them a few more times with the flour and then reapplied it. Last time I looked, the stain was hardly noticeable. Let's see here, I'll just rub it again. So if it was nice and warm, that seems to be what's doing the trick. Alright, wipe this off. I don't know if you can notice that, but stain is hardly even noticeable anymore. So that old trick seems to have worked pretty well. Very, very faint right here. Very faint. I'll just rub the flour on it a few more times, and then when I'm done, I'll just wipe the boot off and it'll barely be noticeable.